And we are live, episode 20. Fit with us. We've made 20, mate. What's happened?
20? What is happening, man? I don't even know if 20 people listen to it, but I'll take it.
It's definitely not a number I can count to, but I know it's a lot.
Is that because you're missing a toe?
We promised we wouldn't speak about the incident.
Um, how are you, mate? It's good to see you back. It's good to have you back.
I was honestly thinking I might not come back, and I'll tell you why, mate. Because Shannon was leaving me a voice note before we had our kind of team meeting last Wednesday, and she was like, "Oh, I meant to say the episode that he's just put up. That was great. Really enjoyed that episode. One of the better ones." I'm like, don't know how to take the fact that I'm not on that episode, Shannon. Cheers for that.
Oh,
I appreciate that.
brilliant. I'll tell you something, man. Like, I felt the pressure last week of actually having to be a host. Like, you know how me and you were just talking like two pals. I felt the pressure of being a host, and it was fucking scary. I felt like I was just rambling and rambling.
Didn't come across, mate. You came across well.
Brilliant. Love that.
I,
I'll
I
take
want.
it. I'll accept it.
I wanted to hate it, mate. I really did. I was trying to find points going, oh, he's a shite, but I couldn't. You done it.
So, best episode to date yet?
Well, that's according to Shannon, but her opinion's a bit fucked anyway, so don't worry about that. Don't worry about Shannon.
No, it's good, man. It's good to have you back. How has your last 2 weeks been? Because I've not seen you.
Mr. Worldwide, mate. I've been everywhere and anywhere, so it's just been March was always going to be mental. I was at a kind of business conference in Edinburgh last week. I then rolled in to go to Glasgow to see my mum and grandmother's day, my grand's birthday, and then my mum's actually over. She came over not yesterday, the day before, and we're painting walls, sanding floors, insulating attics, like all the fun stuff. So it's been busy, mate. Yeah, busy, busy. How's yourself?
I no, I don't know if I've been as busy as you, right enough, but I've been good, man. Training's going well. Back on it with the kind of nutrition side of things. Oh, big news as well. Bought a house. So yeah, it's been all systems go on my end. So now we're just waiting to actually get all the kind of legalities done and get the keys, and we can move in, and I can finally have my own office space. I don't need to work for a dining room table anymore.
Class, mate. Buzzing for you.
And I can say stuff without having to whisper.
Do you know what? It's actually like an ASMR thing for some of the people listening, where you do sound like there's a certain effect to you whispering down the microphone. We'll miss that.
Here's the thing, like, regardless of whether I whisper or no, they could just listen to the podcast and listen to everything that's said.
True, mate. What was it going to say? The guy who's eating raw chicken, mate, he's still going.
Oh my fuck. I forgot all about him.
No, still going. Still going.
What's what's it on, like 40 or 50 something now?
I think the last one I watched, they had like a full chicken and he pulled raw eggs out of his arsehole and started eating them, which, yeah, that's what it is.
Aye, guys, listeners, viewers, if you've not seen them yet, go on to Instagram and type in raw chicken experiment and you'll see exactly what we're talking about and why I'm feeling a bit bulky.
I think between him pulling eggs out and Eddie Abu using it to boost the algorithm, I'm going to start doing a few reels with eggs in it. I think that eggs is the missing piece.
Aye, 100%. Eddie Abu's been on one the last couple of weeks and also he has he's fucking fried. I think all that all those extra vitamins has went to his noggin. He's saying to people like, what is he, 60, 61, something like that. And he's absolutely, the guy's still shredded. Like the guy is absolutely stacked, right? And he's like lifting up his top and he's got rippling abs. How did I get these? Eggs. What the fuck are you talking about? You never got abs because of eggs. You get abs because you were juiced to the gills when you were bodybuilding and you've managed to maintain it. Maintaining is easier than building. So he's been able to maintain it. Yes, eggs have helped because they're high in protein, but it's not just because he's eating eggs that he's got abs. The guy has no fucking idea what he's talking about.
You know what will be interesting, mate, is find out what age he dies at. because usually with someone like that, they do tend to go quite early, like carrying that amount of muscle mass and usually using some of the products they use to try and get it in the first place. Like the heart can't cope with the amount that they have to do. So I think there was a thing done that all the 80s bodybuilders out the top 50 of them, I think there was 48 of them who were either dead or had like serious heart surgery. So
Oh.
I'd be interested to see if Eddie Abu's still going in 5 years' time.
Or he's got serious brain issues.
I don't
Um,
studies linking. I don't know if there's studies linking gear use to the kind of minimising of the brain, but you're probably right.
honest to God, but like I still watch his stuff because I take it in because it winds me up, and it's obviously good to talk about. But I'm helping him. I'm pretty much promoting his stuff by watching his shit, if that makes sense.
Do you know what it is, mate? It's like I've experienced this more recently myself. Is see when you get negative comments on your stuff, it still boosts your like. Say if you put up a reel,
Aye.
you get negative comments. It still boosts. It even boosts it even further. So Eddie Abu, to a point, is a byproduct of people commenting and viewing his stuff because it's absolutely shite. Like
Yeah. My favourite thing that Eddie Abu rants about is protein, like whey protein powder. He says it's shit, it's made in a lab, it's shit. Eat an egg. Animal protein is best for you. Whey protein is animal protein. That's how much he doesn't know. Whey
in,
protein is just a byproduct of milk.
in fairness, I think they're just gearing up for a celebrity boxing match between him and James Smith to make all the money. I think that
Aye. Oh, Jake Paul will be calling him it soon.
throwing fucking raw eggs at each other. Who hurt that hurt you the most? What was I
Aye,
saying?
for anybody, sorry if you, oh, sorry what you got to say, mate.
I'll go on, mate.
I was just going to talk more about Eddie Abu and how he likes to go into supermarkets and pick up all the food and say, this is shit, it's chemicals, chemicals, chemicals. I'm taking in chemicals right this second.
You're looking good.
Oxygen, it's
You're looking.
chemicals.
You're looking good for it, mate.
I I give you the task of going, and you've mentioned this before as well. Go and find something in the supermarket that's not made of chemicals or chemically enhanced. You can't fucking do it. Everything's chemicals. So for him to use that as a fear-mongering tactic or a scaremongering tactic, it's just stupid. But that's how little he knows.
Well, mate, just on that as well. So Ireland is I think it's the world's biggest exporter of bananas. There is not a banana tree in Ireland.
It's not even get the fucking tropical weather for a banana tree.
Does today, to be fair, mate. It's cold outside, but it looks good.
What the fuck?
Yeah, no, I know, mate. I found that out recently because they've got, I think there's two big companies, it's Fifes and something else over here, and I'm like, tons of bananas, and like I end up going into it. I was like, yeah, Ireland's the biggest exporter of bananas, but doesn't actually have like banana trees, which I mean,
That's wild.
I would hazard a guess and say the natural lifespan of a banana is not getting over from Africa to Ireland to like Sweden. I think there's probably a few chemicals sprayed on that to keep it going. So
100%.
uh,
Imagine going to Sainsbury's and picking up a bag of bananas and it says country of origin, Ireland.
yeah, I was gonna say that doesn't sound like Kenya, does it?
I would definitely be questioning that label, that shit. There was something else that I wanted to talk about there with regards to food. Oh shit, it's lost on me. You keep going and I'll try and think about what I was going to say.
Speaking about bananas, so I've been doing a few kind of paid ads and stuff to get my stuff out a little bit further because the algorithm's fucked, as you know. So I forgot I boosted one weeks ago and it wouldn't let me boost it because apparently I had another one boosted and I had to wait till the lifespan of that one had done. Completely forgot about it. And I started seeing like comments from people I didn't know on one of these reels, and I was like, why the fuck has that got comments on it? Who are you? Again, I made an argument. Sorry, I made a deal with myself back in 2020. I wouldn't argue with idiots in the internet anymore. So I was like not putting time and energy into it. But there was the real to give you premise on it was the free supplements that are scientifically proven to make a difference, right? So there was creatine, caffeine, and protein.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, somebody commented on it going, the effects of caffeine are really short. An apple or banana would probably be better for you. Like so many things are going through my head. I'm going, well, science would argue the half-life of caffeine's not overly short, but okay, that's your prerogative. Science would also say that it's a proven fat burner, and also a banana and apple is not a supplement either. So I'm like, I was literally bashing away at the keyboard and going, there, I had to bring myself back when you're not argumenters and the idiots and
Aye.
so I just went, banana's not a supplement, thumbs up.
That's mate, what a response. Absolutely fantastic response.
Fucking, yeah,
Um,
telling you, I've had a sore
uh,
date.
I really, oh, that's what I was going to say. How do you feel about food being labelled organic in supermarkets right now? Because I've been reading into this quite a lot recently, and studies have come out showing, like there's been actual research done to show that food labelled organic, organic vegetables, fruit, whatever, any sort of any sort of food that has organic on the label, there is zero benefit to having organic over the normal packaged stuff. It's just a marketing thing.
Um, so I'll give you context. I had my unemployed stage at 2015 when I moved back from Australia, where I had 3 months this summer. I was looking for a job, but in that time, that's when the big health things were on the rise, and avocados were massive. So all of the Netflix documentaries at the time were about, like, again, organic foods and all that. So I spent 3 months just watching Netflix documentaries on like organic foods. Back then, I think the thing about organic is to be labelled organic does like this, like, I mean, if you compare it to what wouldn't be organic, there is like the smallest amount of change. Like, for instance, like chickens to be labelled as, what is it, organic or free range or whatever, they're given like an extra 3 inches. Like, you think about it and you're thinking about
Um,
it in the wild and they can fucking live their life, whereas they're still in cages and they're just got an extra fucking 2.5 inches. 2.5 inches matters, as we all know, but at the same time, it's not, is that worth paying an extra 150 for? Probably not. So I I don't, I'll be honest, I don't know enough about the process of making food these days. And I long since stopped actually caring about it. But wouldn't surprise me in the slightest that organic is no better for you than like organic broccoli tastes absolutely fucking rotten versus normal broccoli. I don't know what they've done to it, but they've made it worse. They've made something that's terrible worse.
they've taken the chemicals out of it, that's what it is.
Chemicals taste fucking great, tell you that.
So it's basically just a marketing ploy. It's to get you to spend more money so they can line their pockets a wee bit more. And another thing as well is don't be scared of the word processed. Processed is such a broad term. Some of the healthiest foods that you can eat are classed as processed. If you buy a bag of frozen broccoli florets, did I say that right? Florets.
I knew what you meant, so yeah, yeah.
I don't know why had to specify florets or florets. I'll just say broccoli. If you buy a bag of frozen broccoli, that is classed as processed because it's not in its original form. Is that right? Is that kind
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah,
make
yeah.
sense what I'm saying? So because it's been cut up and frozen, that's now processed. Whey protein is processed to shit. Whey protein is super, super mega processed and it's so healthy for you. Um, and the same, like, so don't be put off by, don't get me wrong, like, if you're going for ultra high processed foods, like fucking microwavable mac and cheese and stuff, and you're eating that day in, day out, maybe not the best option, but don't be scared of these processed foods when some of the processed foods that you can get out there are the healthiest ones, and don't be swayed towards going to organic because you're just wasting your money. Touching on protein as well, sorry, I'm fucking going all over the place here. It doesn't matter where you get your protein from and what source you get your protein from. No specific source of protein is better than the other. If you get your protein in on a daily basis, you're doing enough. So don't listen to Eddie Abu and say an egg is better. Did you see the figures that he came out with, by the way? He just made up a reel, right? And he's like, if you eat an egg, your body absorbs like 46% of it turns to muscle. If you have whey protein, 16% of it turns to muscle, something along those lines. And he's like, and don't ask me where's the research, do your own fucking research. Mate, there is no paper, no research, no studies done online that holds like holds what he says true. There is nothing online that specifies what he says is true. He's just completely made it up. So don't be buying into get your protein from this source, get your protein. Just fucking get your protein in. It doesn't matter where you get it from. As long as you're hitting your minimum target every single day, you're doing enough.
Yeah, that fucking Gary for president. The only things I would add is like I've since my unemployed stage back in 2015, I've not really paid a lot of heed to like foods in terms of like organic. I just know they fucking cost more. And broccoli tastes rotten, but I don't really think it would make a massive difference to like realistically the same people who get uptight about these things are also the same people that are smoking fucking plastic pens.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't worry too much about where the chemicals are coming from. The amount of times people tell me that cans of Monster are bad for you, but are the same people who get absolutely trolleyed on a nightly basis, or whatever. So like it's each to their own. Absolutely go for it. Just on the protein side of things, I would agree for the most part. I'm going to just disagree slightly. Slightly. It's always good to have a wee bit of disagreement here, but
Yes.
I would
Bring it.
say that for 99.9% of people who listen to this or be coached, then 100% getting your protein in, irrespective of how you get it in, massive. But when it does come to the likes of vegan sources of proteins, and you could even argue dairy, which could branch into eggs, is because they don't have the same amino acid profile, the way that they digest isn't taken as well by the body, which might mean, for instance, if you did have 20 grams of protein from a chicken breast, your body's probably able to hold 60 to 80% of that because of the amino acid profile. Whereas if you're having it from fucking edamame or edam, I don't even know how you say it, but if you're having it from that, or broccoli florets or florets, whatever, and you're having 20 grams of protein from that, because of there's no amino acids with it, your body might not uptake it the same way, even though the numbers are the same. But with all that said, the most important thing for it is just actually getting it in. Will the differences long term be enough? Like if you're a bodybuilder or a physique athlete, and this is why I say for 99.9% of people, it's not going to make a fucking difference. Your life will change hitting protein irrespective of how you do it. But if you are somebody at the upper level of that, and you are looking for those significant differences, yes. But just so we don't get clipped at some point and go, "Yous are wrong," because you know what is context. But yes, for the majority of people, just getting fucking protein in the first place is
If you're on a kind of vegan diet as such, you want to be overshooting your protein target by quite a bit. So use easy figures here. So if your protein target, if you're on a vegan diet, is 100 grams a day, would you think, Kyle, how much would you shoot for? Just to make sure they're getting enough in.
See, I'd be overshooting your protein anyway, but particularly if you're a vegan, or
Yeah.
Matt Rippetoe calls him a vegan, I would say, I'd probably be aiming for at least 1.2 times your target,
Right.
like 120 grams. Make it simple for that, yeah.
Aye. So there you go for any of our vegan listeners. Don't actually think I don't even, do I know a vegan? I know a couple, but I don't think they listen to the podcast.
I coach a few, but I actually had one girl, Tara. She was a vegetarian for about 5 years, and then started coaching me, and within 2 weeks, she was eating bacon again. I was like, I don't know if that's a proud achievement I have or what, but I'm like, Jesus, that's moved quickly.
Fantastic. I'm not shitting on vegan, by the way. Like when me and Rachel were traveling in Canada, obviously we lived in a van. We didn't have a fridge. All we had was a cooler. We ended up buying a lot of vegan stuff because it lasted longer than the fresh meat. And it like we found these vegan burgers and they were absolutely banging. Like we made our own like fake Big Mac and all that with them. It was fantastic.
Mate, I'm not gonna lie. Like I've tried. I went on a vegan diet. 20 same as my employment year. 20. I set as a year. It was a couple of months, but 2015. Again, I went for a period. It was at least 2 months where I didn't have any animal products. It was all just like vegan, and this was before the times where they had like the can't believe it's not real burger and all that. It literally was, if you're a vegan or vegetarian, you were just fucking eating sweet potatoes, fucking whatever it was at the time. But you know what?
Yeah.
I had a great. I've never genuinely don't think I've ever felt better in terms of like my energy levels, my I get skin rash and stuff, gluten intolerant, but like I've never felt better in terms of ready. Might have been employed as well. That might have helped the fact that there was no stress. But it was great, man. I would challenge anybody to go on a fucking 2 weeks of their life and just say, like, try it. Like, absolutely try it. Like, I knew after 2 months, I'm like, right, well, I'm enjoying it and have far more veg, far more grains, far more, like, variety in my meals now than I did. But I also love a turkey burger and
Mhm.
a steak. So, but it's 100% was just go back to that. But yeah, I'd say try it. Absolutely go for it.
Right. This is something that I've actually been like toying with. Like the idea of it is trying vegan for a month, trying keto for a month, trying all different diets for a month, just so I can then relate to people, like relate to clients and stuff when they come to me and say, I've tried this, I've tried that, I'm on this diet, I'm on that diet. And then it means I can actually understand it from a personal point of view rather than just what I'm reading in the literature and reading in studies and stuff. So it's definitely something I've been thinking about. I think maybe once I get into the house and stuff, I might give it a shot for 4+ weeks. But obviously, I've got targets to meet. I've got calorie targets. I've got protein targets. So still keep those calorie and protein targets. Still keep my training up, and just document how it makes me feel on a day-to-day basis. Write everything down, and then it means when somebody does come to me with, yeah, I'm vegan, I can actually relate to that person.
Yeah, I couldn't agree anymore. I have tried. I was keto in college for 2 years, outside of a cheat day on a Saturday where I'd absolutely probably smash my week's worth of carbohydrates. But I done it for 2 years, mate, and genuinely, like I think when I done the body scanner, I was like, I think it was less than 7% body fat. Like that was the like
Wow.
still going to be an error margin, but it was one of the better ones, not just you stepping on a scale. Like you had to, I think it was 9 points of contact. Um, Saying that, I was built like a side of fiver if you drew some abs on it, but at the same time, like at the time, I would say from a body composition point of view, this is before I even knew about calories
Mhm.
and stuff. I was just reading Arnie's book and genuinely, for the wrong reasons, thought I was scared of carbohydrates because I thought I would just turn into a sack of totties if I had carbs.
Aye.
So I went to bed tired, but I woke up tired. I was just tired all the fucking time. Hence the reason I was drinking about 7 cans of Red Bull a day as well. Probably taking about 10 years off my life. But here we are.
That is what it is. I done a wee bit of research this week for 12X, obviously the group that I work for, and it was about diet and zero sugar drinks, more specifically aspartame. Is that how you
Yeah.
say that or not? More specifically aspartame, because there's a lot of fear mongering, scaremongering online about it, because I think was it this year the study came out that it's classed as a 2B carcinogen. And then people started losing their fucking minds about it. So do you want to talk about that a wee bit? I think this will be interesting.
I feel if you're going to open the lid on this one, I'm ready just to go in with shotgun blast. So, is there anything you want to start with? Because I've got a passionate speech about this one.
Right, I've got hunters, mate, on this. I've got loads of notes in front of me right now. I actually done the calculations to see how many cans of Coke Zero I could safely have in a day, or I could have in a day that would keep me in the safe zone of recommended aspartame
It's like
intake.
it's like 86 or something, isn't it?
For me, for my body weight, it's 42.
42. Yeah. And then after 42, it becomes the level of which it would be deemed unsafe. That's right, isn't it?
Deemed unsafe, not proven, deemed unsafe. Now, bearing in mind, like, see all these carcinogen studies, these are all done on rats. These aren't human. Like, these aren't done on humans. These are done on rodents in a lab in a controlled environment. Um, the carcinogen list, for anybody that doesn't know, a carcinogen is something it's like a substance that can potentially lead to giving you cancer. Not guaranteed, but it can potentially lead. And there's 4 different groups in the carcinogen list. Group 1, Group 2A, Group 2B, and Group 3. Now, Group 3 are ones that hasn't really been tested. Coffee, fluorescent lights, just stupid shit like that. Obviously, 1 is your worst: smoking, alcohol, obesity. 2A, things like wood dust, gamma radiation, processed meat. But obviously, processed meat, that doesn't mean to say that if you eat a McDonald's burger, you're going to get cancer off the back of it. But if you're eating it on a daily basis, there's a good chance that your health might take a bit of a hit. Doesn't mean to say you can't do it. It's not what I'm saying. But 2B, I can see you just getting ready to go, man. You're fucking twitching and everything here.
Mate, I've actually woke up today, not raging, but I've come up today and I'm ready to change the world today. I've just had one. And when you're saying these things, I'm actually just processing them. Continue, keep going. Sorry, mate. I'm
I,
not.
I was going to do now was touch on the classification that aspartame has been given, so the 2B classification. Another thing that's in the 2B classification of potential things that can potentially give you cancer is a mobile phone. And nobody's shouting and bawling about mobile phones being the worst thing invented. Nobody's moaning about using them. You're actually using your mobile phone to moan about aspartame. How fucked in the head are you? So aspartame's not dangerous. Not that it's been proven or found out yet. You can have, I think there was some sort of study done as well online, that you can actually have up to 1,000 cans a day and still be safe. That's how not dangerous aspartame is. Do you want to jump in here? Because I can see you fucking twitching.
I'd
You
say
know that's going.
I'd say your bladder would probably be fucked drinking 1,000.
Oh, bladder's fucked. Aye, bladder's fucked, and you're going to be up all night pissing.
My safety mechanism when it comes to soft drinks is the fact that I've got a shite bladder, so it's like I can't drink any more than I can, otherwise I'm in trouble. Right, I'm going to try and keep this concise. So, I think it was Matt who was chatting to us about this the other week, and he was saying that we're now in a very dangerous part of life where we used to have proper wars, but this is now the war of victimhood, where people like there's a lot of shit going on in the world now. I'm from my own part in this. Like, I heard that our brain isn't ready to compute. Like, we can only deal with problems around us, but we're getting given information from wars that are happening in countries and atrocities and everything else. I'm not saying there's a lot of shit that's going wrong in the world, but you know what? I tend to, when people ask me an opinion on it, I'm like, I actually don't have one, because it's not like I'm being ignorant to it. It's just I'm dealing with my own fucking shit, and I can't actually do anything to affect that. Like, I can share things on Facebook or Instagram, but it's not going to make a massive, massive fucking difference to the world. But I think a lot of people are taking on the problems of the world and looking for a reason to be upset, hurt, and like, again, feeling the way they are because they can't comprehend absolutely everything that's going on. That's absolutely fine. The prerogative. But what I would say on this is information is great, but information in the wrong hands is not great in that way, in the sense we've got more information coming in than ever, and it's confusing to someone who can't process that properly. So to put things in perspective there, if you put something in the microwave, it gives a radiation to your food, which is dangerous for your body. If you go out into the sun, it's got radiation that's dangerous to your body. If you eat broccoli florets, it's dangerous to your body because it's on the broccoli florets. And if you want to live your life, and if you start to Google absolutely everything that's dangerous for your body, you will never eat, drink, or leave the house again. And that's fine.
Yep.
Absolutely for that. On the other hand, is Diet Coke healthy for you? No, like nobody's. Let's get that out of the way. Nobody's pretending at any point it was. But in the same way, like you mentioned alcohol there. Has anybody ever thought that alcohol? Well, actually, saying that Men's Health did to actually say it was good for you to have a glass every once in a while. But you know what? Like, parking that aside, nobody has seriously actually thought in today's day and age that alcohol is healthy for you. So with all that, it's like, you're a human being and you're looking for an effect from it rather than it to be healthy. If you have that in a balanced diet, then you're absolutely fine. If you're somebody who takes things to the extreme and are probably having 12 cans of Diet Coke a day, it's probably not going to be the best for you. And that's not because there's aspartame in it. It's probably because of the excess amount of caffeine that's in it, probably because there's syrups in it, probably because it's making you feel bloated, probably because you go to the toilet every 2 minutes, probably because, again, you can't stomach food because there's so much acid in your stomach. It's nothing to do with like a chemical, but if you want to have your sole existence looking at what chemicals are in things, and that's your prerogative. I actually managed to say all that without a blood vessel going in my head, but yeah,
Oh mate, I loved that. I felt like I've just put a lighter right under your bum there and just fucking watched you go.
say, mate, I enjoyed that. No, that's all. I mean, I could go into it for it. Like I put up a thing on fucking Facebook. It was like must have been at least 10 years ago, where it was like I put a can of, remember the Red Bull, the little short shot, the one that was meant to be like
Yeah.
5 times stronger than an actual Red Bull. It had probably had about 400 milligrams of caffeine in it. I put it up on Facebook. And the amount of comments at the time I got on that was back when Facebook was only like kind of platform you could use. Like I had aunties, uncles, like I think my granddad chipped in with it. I had members of the gym going, "Do you know that's really bad for you? Do you know this? Do you know that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sound, but you know what? Somebody puts up a couple of shots and a night out, that's absolutely fine for them because they're having a good fucking time." I put up an equivalent of what is a Red Bull, and fuck, the world goes mad.
I know, I know. I'm just looking something up online just now, and it's funny. This came out when all the kind of anti-vax chat about COVID and stuff happened, and people were so focused on the chemicals that were getting into your body. I seen this post on Facebook, and it was somebody put, "This is a standard vaccine composition. Which of these chemicals do you object to having in your body?" And it's like a lot of chemicals. There's probably about 30 chemicals here: ethanol, propoacetate, propanol, and somebody put all of them. And the guy went, "Really? Because I've just given you the chemical composition of an apple, which is living testimony to the fact that anti-vaxxers aren't qualified to know what they are scared of." And it's the same thing with regards to diet drinks and zero sugar drinks. It's the exact fucking same. And this is what I was saying like earlier on in the podcast. Everything is made of chemicals. Literally everything in the world has a chemical composition. And when people hear the word chemical, they get terrified.
Do you know what would be great? See if our bodies were built to survive and were built to deal with small amounts of stress. That would be great, wouldn't it? If your body's like, just imagine that you had a filtration system that you could detoxify yourself.
I know. What would the chances of that be?
Fuck, where did I get one of them? Or you could just sit in the house and Google those things. But wait, when you do that, do you know what's also what's proven to be one of the biggest things that causes depression? Sitting on your computer all day. So, do you know what? Yeah, absolutely. You can sit and you can Google it all and you can be upset at the world, but you're going to be depressed doing it. And again, that'll probably lead to issues by itself.
Yeah.
Or you can go out there when the sun is shining and accept, you know what, it might take a wee bit of fucking time off your life, but at least you've enjoyed it whilst you're here.
Exactly. It's important to remember we only get one shot at this. Life's too short to stress about every single minute detail of every single thing that's happening in the world.
Now, just on that, because again, there will be some people who take that super literally, and I feel it is important to put it out. Just because we're saying that you shouldn't stress about those things, and you absolutely shouldn't, it doesn't mean you take it to the other extreme and start drinking bleach because you think you've got a filtration system. And on that other end of the spectrum, I think that's where it is if you imagine Eddie Abu's on one side of the spectrum where it is like you need to have the cleanest of clean diets and everything needs to come straight out the chicken's arse before you eat it, to James Smith on the other hand, where nowadays not so much, but when he first started was like you can have absolutely anything you want, and whilst that is true, it's not the most intelligent idea to try, just because you can lose body fat whilst eating McDonald's every day doesn't mean you should.
You should, aye, absolutely.
But the answer is more in the middle. Like you apply logic, have things that are either recently dead or still alive, in the sense that you've got like animal products that are recently dead or still alive, in the sense you've got veg and apples and everything else. 80% of that, 20% of it, party time. You can have what you want. If you want Diet Coke, if you want whatever that may be, like have it, fill your bits, you'll survive. And if you don't, well, I was going to say don't sue me, but you did, so it doesn't matter.
From a fucking hell, Kyle. Jesus Christ.
It's our
From
podcast.
a
What do we want?
from Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. From like a fat loss and like a health and fitness perspective, though, swapping out full sugar drinks, not full fat, because there isn't fucking any fat in it, full sugar drinks for a diet or a zero sugar alternative is an absolutely fantastic option. You could be saving hundreds and hundreds of calories a day just by making that substitution, just by substituting
Super
the
sub.
full sugar stuff for that. Aye, super sub. Just by swapping full sugar for zero sugar, you could be saving. And people, you will start to notice the difference on it as well. Don't make diet drinks your only source of fluid. Drink water. You still need to get your water in. You still need to actually look after yourself slightly. But there is no substantial evidence that these fear-mongering zealots and what they're saying. Like Kyle said, aspartame isn't the issue if you're drinking 12, 20, 40 cans of fucking Coke Zero a day. Of course, there's going to be an issue. Aspartame isn't the issue. I think the bladder's going to take a beating. You're going to be like your piss is going to be fizzy. Um, but yeah, making that change from full sugar to diet sugar, the diet drinks and zero sugar, absolutely 100% go for it, especially on a fat loss perspective.
I was a bit rinchy for saying diet sugar there, and I actually realised there is actually diet sugar. It's just like sweetener, so I can't really
Is that
albeit that's not.
as
Yeah, as
aspartame? Is that diet sugar?
that technically is sucralose and all that, but aspartame, I think the reason it's used is just because it actually tastes better. Just to follow up on that, like you're always like there's a cost to everything. Like there's a cost of you know absolutely like if you want to avoid that and not say pressing it upon you, that's fine. But if you're because again I have seen another argument, it's like well if diet drinks are worse for you, then I'm just going to have normal sugar drinks. I'm like, that's fine. But if you're again 15 kilos overweight, I'm like, do you know what's going to be bad for you? 15 kilos of body fat that your body's having to literally haul out every day. Like your
Aye.
heart's going to be under pressure. Like you're at higher risk of so many other diseases, and that's absolutely fine if you want to make that choice. But understand there's a cost to that too. So it's really about choosing your battles, or you can continue sitting at home googling these things and getting yourself upset. But like, just
Aye.
you could just make a
And
decision.
comment on other people's posts on Instagram and Facebook who are trying to actually help people and make a difference.
Yeah, it actually baffles me that. Like, I know I'm taking on a wee sub rant there, but like, see when I do actually look at some stuff and well, I agree with it or disagree with it. See some of these stuff, it's just like no matter how good something is, when it's got traction, you've always got somebody, usually a faceless profile, just like fucking commenting on it, and it's
Aye.
just all like either negativity or like whatever, and you're like, what you do? What you do?
It's just to make them, it's to make themselves feel better.
I know you kind of. I really want to try and find the people's parents on their Instagram and just like message them and you go, you know that was your best sperm that created that thing commenting that like I'd be
You
distraught.
should have pulled it. You should
Yeah,
have pulled it.
I I think it was I don't know if it was Joe Rogan back in the day or whatever. Somebody was like Michael Jordan doesn't leave comments on people's Instagram and Facebook because he's not got fucking time. He's busy and he's got purpose in his life. He's like, the reason that you're sitting having Facebook and Instagram arguments with people is because you've got no purpose and no whatever in your life. And I'm like, fucking right. And between that and again, a really ill-timed comment by myself at COVID, I was like, I am never arguing with an idiot on the internet again. There's nobody that wins that battle. I'm done.
Aye, 100%. Don't lower yourself to their standards.
Yeah, 100%.
Eh,
Sorry,
you got to
what?
say something now?
No, I just noticed that the cat's currently in the office and the window's coming. Sorry, the window's coming through. The sun's coming through the window, but it's almost like it was trying to chew the sun. It's like it was like
Nice.
chewing it. I was like, I don't
For
want to
anybody
catch.
that's listening, for anybody that's listening on Spotify and they're not watching on YouTube, Kyle started chomping thin earlier.
Thanks for the audio description there. Yeah, I appreciate that. You can say.
Hey, we can't let our loyal Spotify listeners miss out on, on opportunities like that. No, what I was going to say is, seen a wee post on Instagram. I don't know if it was today or yesterday, but it was quite interesting, and I think our listeners would be they would get a good bit of value from it. So I thought I would just mention it. And it was Jordan Syatt that made the post, and he said 3 reasons why you're not losing weight. And I thought it would be interesting to dive into if you're up for it.
I'm up for it, mate. I've got no other plans today except painting the ceiling, so let's get into it.
Brilliant, brilliant. So reason number one, and it's probably the most important reason of all, is you're not actually in a calorie deficit.
Controversial.
Controversial. The only way that you're going to lose body fat is by being in a calorie deficit. I know Eddie Abu says calories are a lot of shit, but he can't prove it. So don't listen to Eddie Abu. Calorie deficit has been proven time and time again to work. It's still, sorry, you got to say something.
Gary, I don't eat that much and I just can't seem to lose weight.
Yeah, it's right. So here's the problem, because you don't have a fucking clue about portion control. You do not know how many calories you're actually bringing into your body. You're probably moving a lot less than you think. You know, I've had so many conversations with people where I say, right, how's your step count? You need to hit, I'm just going to use the 10,000 number because it's an easy number, right? Let's aim for 10,000 steps a day. But a day, quite a lot of steps a day. A day, a lot of steps. What does your phone say if it's in your pocket a day? 3,500. What have you done today? I went for the food shop. I bought a potter about the house. Aye, that's not enough. For us, like, I work in a gym. I'm on my feet all day. I still have to actively go for a walk. Do you know what I mean? So you don't know portion control if you're not weighing. This is why weighing and tracking your food works, because it's an eye opener. We're not asking you to do it to for every single day, sorry, for the rest of your life. We're just asking you to do it so you are more aware around food. So you're building up a knowledge base around food so you know what a portion looks like. Because I can tell you right now, see if I ask somebody, go and pour a portion of cereal. Oh, you know for a fact that they're pouring at least a 4 portion bowl of cereal.
Yeah, mate, can't agree any more than that. I think people tend to give their bestie, as in like they've done 10,000 steps on a Wednesday, and they now do 10,000 steps. They've logged 1,600 calories on a Thursday, and they do 1,600 calories all the week. But you know what they forget? It's like they've not logged properly on Friday evening. They've then not logged Saturday. Sunday they've done no movement because they're hungover and feeling shite. Start again Monday. But you know what? Because they got 10,000 steps on a Wednesday and because they got 1,600 calories on a Thursday, they forgot to log any of their oil sources and they didn't really know how to log their signage at lunchtime, so they logged it as 200 calories. But with all that, they're logging 1,600 calories and they're doing 10,000 steps a day. But they just can't understand because they have put, this is the mindset thing, they have put effort into it, and I don't disagree with that, but they're not getting the response. So they're like, I've put effort into something that I'm not actually getting. It's not so much your effort, you're just inaccurate with it. Like, you can put effort into throwing a dart at a dartboard, but you fucking miss it completely. You're not going to count, is it? So
That was point number two. You're not consistent enough. So you absolutely nailed that one for even meaning it. I basically what Kyle said, Monday to Friday or Monday to Thursday, you're fucking on the ball, absolutely on point. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you don't track. You don't know how many steps you're getting. Sunday's probably a couch day because you're hungover from Saturday. You end up getting a takeaway. So you've just cancelled out all the work you've put in Monday through Thursday. So yeah, point number two, you're not consistent enough. I was going to say, do you agree with that? But I know you did because you just
no,
spoke
I
about it.
object. I object to that.
And number three is you don't have the patience. Like, remember, you don't just gain body fat overnight. You don't gain body fat by having 1 week in the way. Gaining body fat takes time, just the same as losing body fat. So the fact that you do 3 days of hitting your steps, hitting your protein, hitting your calories, and you're going, why am I not seeing any change? Because it doesn't happen overnight. Ideally, you want to be losing half a percent to 2% at the absolute top end of your body weight per week. So see if you're losing half a pound, say, a week, you get to the end of the 4 weeks or the end of the month and you go, I've only lost £2 this month. I don't think people realise how big £2 is. £2 is massive. And it's going to be a lot easier to stay off as well if you're losing it at that speed. See if you're, what was it? I seen a coach on my Facebook, and I think the guy was like 24 pounds down in 7 weeks. And I'm like, that's great. But how fucking little has he eaten? You've just, oh, you unmuted yourself there. I seen the wee mute button coming up.
I was about to sneeze. I didn't want a didn't
Oh,
want our Spotify listeners to hear me like the full dimensional
fair.
effect. Yeah.
Um, so like £2 in a month is massive numbers, but people want to be losing it at the speed of light. But like I say, you're trying to reverse years and years and years of a poor relationship with food, bad habits. Um, it doesn't happen. It could take a year for you to get to a point where you're actually happy in your journey. Yes, if you've got a holiday in 8 weeks' time and you sign up to a PT, you've left it too late. Two, it's not impossible to lose quite a lot of weight in those 8 weeks. Three, by the time you go on holiday and start eating normal again, you're going to bloat, you're going to feel like shit, you're going to feel tired, you're going to feel lethargic. So us as coaches, we want to transform your life. We want to be able to give you the tools that you're able to keep the weight off long term. Now that doesn't mean constantly being in a diet, because constantly being in a diet is going to be detrimental to your goals. Dieting fucking sucks at the best of times, but we want to give you the tools. No, every coach is like this, but I know me and Kyle are like this. We want to give you the tools that's going to help sustain your progress long term. What you got that cheeky wee grin for?
Mate, I was pulled out some chewing gum and I was like, oh, there's quite chemicals on it, but this is going to be one of the moments you can tell that I've not had too much caffeine today. I was about to say, do you want a chewing gum? Don't know what I'm doing with that. Literally just was like, I hadn't catch it coming out. I was literally just about going, you want a chewing? Speaking to the screen.
Mate, do you know what that's just reminded me? I see when we went away in Canada and we were in the van, I had a fucking pounding headache, right? So I popped a couple of paracetamol, I turned around to Rachel and I'm like, do you want one? And she's like, did you just offer me paracetamol like it was a chewing gum? It's just like, brilliant, isn't it? Absolutely brilliant. But yes, I'll have a chewing gum.
Yeah, mate, hold on, I'll send that over to you. Expect it in
Fantastic.
85 working days.
Oh, that was good. But yeah, that was my 3 points that I wanted to cover. I take it you agree with them all, because you never bounced in to say not. Let's
No,
disagree about that.
interesting.
And another thing that I want to talk about as well, and this is something that a lot of people struggle with too. So as you get lighter, as you start losing weight, your body then needs less fuel to work at rest. So your BMR, your basal metabolic rate, which is how many calories your body burns at rest, drops. So I get a lot of people talking to me like 8, 9 weeks into a program. I'm doing the same thing I have been for the last 7, 8 weeks. Why am I not seeing any changes? Because your body is burning less calories as it was 7, 8 weeks ago, which means you now need to either drop your calories or increase your output or do a combination of both. Also, when you start to lose weight, your body goes into almost like a defense mode. There's this like defense mechanism where you start to unconsciously move less. Your NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, that's unplanned movement, that drops as well. So there's a combination of lots of different things. It doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong or you're broken or your diet's not working. It just means your body is doing what it's supposed to do. Your body is built for survival, and it's going to hold on to as much energy as possible because that's what it's supposed to do. So you actively need to make changes. That's why if you're on a 16-week diet and you're doing the same thing every single day, you're probably going to get to a point where you're not losing any weight anymore. So making small, tiny, wee incremental changes as the weeks go on is going to see you. Oh, you're not going to lose weight every day, but what we want to do is see over a 30-day period, see as long as your graph is trending down, it's working. So don't panic if you plateau. It's just your body's response to what's happening and what you're putting it through. It's not a bad thing. It's a normal thing. I would be worried if you were losing weight every single fucking day. Something would be seriously wrong if that was the case. And then we'd have to look at maybe giving you a wee bit more calories. But people get panicked when you put their calories up They think they're going to reverse everything they've just worked hard for. So yeah, lots and lots of stuff coming into play here, but I just wanted to cover. I don't know, man. I just went on a wee rant there. Sorry.
Enjoyed that, mate. I would just follow that with, I'm not going to add anything additionally to what you said. I think you covered it, but I think the pitfalls of going too low in your calories, especially too early, is like, let's take, for instance, two different numbers. So you could give someone 1,600 calories and you could give them 1,400 calories, and you might find that somebody at 1,600 calories actually loses weight more consistently, because the difference at them at 1,600 calories and 1,400 calories, albeit it's only 200 calories, is the version of themselves at 1,600 calories. One, there's more food in the gut, which means food passes through the gut a little bit more, providing depending on the quality of food. Secondly to that is you've got, like, you move more, like, and your training intensity is a little bit higher. You'll find that the things that aren't measurable in the sense that, like, your personality, so the way that you use hand gestures, the way you smile, the way, let's take that, for example, look at a bodybuilder like 6 weeks out from like a competition. They are horrible to be around because it literally takes them mental energy to have to, like, to do anything, to think the basic body functions. So they're at the absolute, like, kind of extreme end of calories and literally can't do much with it. Whereas if, again, we transfer that over to Linda, who's, again, went from 600 to 1,400. She's not losing as much weight at 1,400, even though the calories are lower, because she's subconsciously stopped, again, training intensity is lower, she's not moving as much. The digestion's a little bit skewed because there's not as much food going through the system. Energy availability is lower. So there is no such thing as like a bottom line calorie. I know we're wrapping this up, but I think when it comes to how low you can take some of these calories, I think there is always that, like, you go to, people always have in their head like 1,200 calories. Like Shannon actually spoke to me the other day because she's dealing with a few clients, and she's like, can I take somebody as low as 1,450 calories? I was like, Shannon, there is no bottom line of calories. Like, realistically, if somebody is a lower body weight and somebody is moving a lot less, and they, again, you spoke to them and they want to lose body fat, then ultimately their fuel demands are a lot lower. So yes, you're going to have to, it's just an unfair thing. Whereas if you have somebody, I used to have Big Gaz, who was 120 kilos, 6'3", was just an absolute unit of a man. It was like, he could die quite comfortably in 3,500 calories. I'm like, well, if I give the 50-kilo woman who wants to lose weight 3,500 calories, like, she's only going to go one way. Like, she's probably going to be about 90 kilos and a documentary team following her. Whereas Big Gaz could diet on that. So there is no, again, with great power comes great responsibility. With that information, don't take yourself down to, again, 1,100 calories, 1,200 calories. And the things I would bulletproof for your calories is make sure that your calories are actually your calories. So Gary touched on this. Are you actually making sure that there's no calorie leaks in there? Are you logging absolutely everything? Are you making sure that the portion sizes are the same? Because even myself get very complacent in the sense that, like, I'll get a protein powder and I'll just go, well, sure, the protein powder is that brand and it's 25 grams, no worries. Whereas you actually look at the finer details and go, do you know what, actually it was a 30-gram scoop rather than a 25-gram scoop, and there's an extra 40 calories through that. And I'm like, if I've double scooped throughout the day, so pretty much 100 calories missing there. The brand of oats that sometimes I have in the morning, like, I'm not thinking about it, I'm just going, I'll have the same breakfast, but you know what, instead of getting it at Aldi, I've got it at Tesco, and the brand's slightly different, so the calories are not slightly different. And there's, in my breakfast alone, albeit, like, I think I'm doing exactly the same, and the contents of the breakfast haven't changed, 200 or 300 calories. And like, it's not that you want to be Captain Killjoy, but if you're doing that through, even if just meal one, 7 days a week, if there's 200 calories a day that you're missing out on, that's over the course of the week, 2, 4, 6, 8,000, 1,500 calories, not quick maths. So would you rather spend those calories not knowing what you've got in your breakfast, or would you rather, if you had a 1,500 calories? I mean, that's a good time at Domino's. Like, just throwing it out there, that's a decent good time there. All for just making sure that your labels are correct and you adjust them. That's really where most people go wrong. So instead of just haphazardly cutting calories, because a lot of the time saying this to Shannon as well, when you put somebody on 1,200 calories, 1,100 calories, whatever that may be, they're actually not on 1,200 calories. They're actually usually on about 1,500 calories. Like, they think they're already on 1,400. You take them down to 12, but they're still consuming 1,500s just because they've cut out another few things. Not the best way of doing it, but point stands. Done.
Aye. Ideally, you want to be losing weight on as many calories as possible. It's going to be a lot more manageable. You're not going to be as tired. You're not going to be as grumpy. Your training intensity is going to be up. You're actually going to enjoy, if there is any such thing as enjoying a diet, you're going to enjoy it as best as possible. If you over restrict too early, you're in for a whole lot of issues after a few weeks.
So a great example of this is I had a coaching client I coached for a year, and she just could not lose weight. We tried a different weight, literally had her up at, I mean, she had weight to lose with all the love in the world, but we had her at 2,200 calories, and we brought her in increments all the way down to, I think it was maybe 12 or 14. And I was like, out of that year period, and every time we'd done it, her weight magically stayed exactly the same year round. And for anybody who, again, is looking for like different science behind that, that's imagine me saying to you, your salary is going to change from 20,000 to 50,000 in the year, like at different increments, but you still at the end of each month have the same amount in your bank account and you don't know what's happening. I'm like, that's not that's a you issue. That's a very much there's an issue there of if you report at the end of each month you've got exactly the same in your bank account, even though I'm paying you a massive amount more, then there's issues there that need to be addressed. That's what I'd say.
Absolutely. That's a fantastic way to put it, and it's very relatable as well.
Class. Anything else you want to add? Are we happy enough for that?
Happy enough for that. Aye. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Kyle, where can they find you?
Well, after last week's episode being the best, I was about to say the bottom of your local river. But at BioFitness88, I think I'm going to be changing that soon to Kyle at BioFitness. But at the moment, if you're watching it, like BioFitness88, if you're watching it in 2025, probably Kyle at BioFitness.
I'll link your Instagram in the description as always. You can find me at gmac_health and fitness. And I thank you all for listening and catch you next week.
GMAC's back again. Right, see you later. Cheers.